Barakata Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Barakata. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And that pretty much comes from the book of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. And what you're looking at before you is the video I was watching earlier. The greatest deception is here. Plus Floyd got the COVIDs and cops gone wild. And this is from the Dollar Vigilante. I was watching this video earlier. And one thing I did notice when I was watching it earlier is he brought this point up here. He was going into the economy towards the end of the video. But in the beginning of the video, he was hitting other points. And this is something that they're doing, you know, in New York and I believe Chicago and other places. And this is from Commissioner Shea. He said, New Yorkers may begin to see our officers with black mourning bands across their shields and across their hearts. We wear these in quiet commemoration of our 27 brothers and sisters we've lost to COVID, so-called hashtag COVID. Another way to honor our vow to never forget, which is total bullshit, because what they're doing is they're hiding their badge number and their name. So when they commit these heinous acts, these violent acts upon the people, they're not going to be held accountable because you don't know the officer's name, you don't know his badge number, so on and so forth. And it's funny that after I finished watching this video, a brother sent me this video. Police at protests are concealing their identities. Now this, and this is now this news, and pretty much you can see they're hiding their faces. They're putting these black things across their badges to hide their identity, which they're not supposed to do. And they're saying that it's in commemoration of the so-called lost members of to so-called COVID, or other police officers that died of COVID. Which if that's the case, they could put it on up here. They could put it anywhere else. On their uniform. They could wear a band around their arm or something like that. They don't have to conceal, or they could have put it up top here, or on the bottom. But this is done on purpose to conceal their identity, and that's why the name of this lesson is They Shall Not Regard Their Kings Nor Princes, because these people are pretty much just doing whatever these police, these senators, these mayors, they're pretty much doing whatever the hell they want to do, It's like a total blatant disregard for anybody and their rights. They don't give a damn, what people are saying or what people are. Pretty much they're just going and doing whatever the hell they want to do. So many words, and this is causing a major disaster, in America and throughout the world. And this is already something. This is something that's prophesied. So this is what the Lord is pushing. These devils are doing on the left-hand side, so that the Lord can check them on the right-hand side. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. And you know that this government is not well ordered, because the people that are running it for the international bankers, whose interest is not the interest of the people, but it's the interest of their own pockets. Their own interest, whatever benefits them. If it doesn't benefit them, they don't want to know about it. And that's why you see things going on the way that they're going, because the people that are that are the judges, that are instructing the people and this government are not run by prudent men, and it's not well ordered. And that's why there's so much chaos, because this is what the so-called shadow government, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, deep state, this is what they want. They want total chaos so that they can bring in their new world order, and this is what it's all about. We keep speaking about the same things over and over again because this is the times that we're living in. We used to go into, before all this mayhem was going on, that's all we spoke about was the microchip, being the mark of the beast, martial law, lawlessness, anarchy, order at chaos. The police, and the governors and the people are going to come against them, so on and so forth. And how much more now will we not speak of this, seeing that it is here? and it has actually, and we're actually witnessing it happening. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And this is a corrupt society, because the people that are over the affairs of America and the world are the so-called international bankers, and their morals are not, they're not right. You know, they're not about upholding a righteous society. They're about enslaving everybody, you know, and making sure that everybody is obedient to them. This is why these prophecies are speaking. This is why they're coming down with that hammer. This is why they're speaking as that dragon, because everything is in place. You know, they're not trying to set anything up. Everything is in place. All they're doing is manipulating the pieces around the board, you know, on the left hand side, which is the Most High working on the left hand side to push for this new world order, you know. And they're seeing how far they can go in fucking with these people, you know. And these people are docile, you know, because they're just like sheep, you know. Whatever happens, they happen. It just so happens that certain individuals out there that know their so-called rights, you know, they speak out against these things. And this is why you see videos and alternative media speaking about these things. But, you know, and the, you know, Israelites, beginning with the Israelites, teaching and speaking against this society. But for the most part, most people in America, you know, and around the world are just mindless buffoons that don't know what the hell is going on. And they think that everything that they're pushing out there is for their benefit, and it's not. It says, excuse me, it says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of a city is, such are all they that dwell therein. And this is why you see all this corruption in New York among the police. You know, and it shows a lot more among the police. They have instances where police have admitted, you know, to doing underhanded shit. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, bringing charges against people unlawfully. You know, working with drug dealers. You know, bringing in the drugs into the communities. You know, destroying the community. Trumping up charges, that's the word, trumping up charges on the people, so that, you know, so that they can cover their ass, even though the person was guiltless. You know, the person didn't do anything to be arrested or fined or anything like that. But it's all about revenue. These are revenue officers that you see. You know, they are for the benefit of the international bankers. They wear the Rothschild shield. That's the Rothschild shield. This badge is a Rothschild shield. It is an evident token that the people that are in charge of America are the Rothschilds. Then you have the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, and all of them. But the main head family are the Rothschilds. That's why they have this shield on them. So it goes on to say, an unwise king destroyeth his people. And you see in the destructuring of this place. Now, excuse me, now in the Dollar Vigilante, he was speaking towards the end of the video on how they're pumping more money, another $1 trillion into the economy to keep it afloat. And what it's doing is savagely destroying the economy, savagely destroying this so-called economy of America. You know, because the more dollars that they pump in, the weaker the dollar becomes. You know, and that's why eventually it goes from inflation, which is the appearance of prices of goods going up, which is not the prices of the goods going up, but the value of the dollar going down, to where you have to pay more of that dollar to get the same product that you got maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, 10 months ago, a year ago. You know, and then that will lead to hyperinflation, which is debt just being accumulated on top of debt, compounded on top of debt. You know, to where things will be so unstable that you can buy something at this moment, it could be $5, and 3 minutes later it could be $100. You know, and that's the way it's going through hyperinflation, because they want to destroy the economy pretty much of the world but they want to hit that reset button. I forgot which. I think it might have been this video or another video where they said they want to hit the reset button. But let's finish this out here. It says, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Yeah, because you have men that are capable of making sure that the government is running correctly and that the rights of the people are not being infringed upon, but they don't care about that. They do not care about the people. See, these people here in America, you know, here it is. When Esau came here to America, they stole this land from the Native American Indians, so-called Native American Indians, the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Reuben, and the tribe of Issachar. They put them on concentration camps, which they call reservation camps. They took over the land, acted like it was theirs. And now they're the same people that took it over, their descendants, which is them coming back, are in different positions of authority, being run by top devils from the international bankers like the Rothschild, Rockefeller, so on and so forth. And they're not going to help you, because this land, the way it was gotten, this is what they call ill-gotten gains. So it says, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. So how can those in authority be prudent to run a rightful government when the government itself and the individuals that are running it are corrupt? You see? It's not about the rights of the people. These people are talking about their rights. Look, you have no rights. And you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians out there, you Israelites, you don't have any rights. Because when the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all that was being written, Judah, so-called Negroes, you were in captivity. You were in slavery. That wasn't for you. The so-called Native American Indians were on reservation camps, concentration camps. That didn't apply to them. That applied to the Edomites, especially the ones that were higher up, that had money. That's what it's all about. When you hear the Declaration of whatever, the Constitution, that does not apply to us. That applies to the Edomites. It says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Why? Because the ones that are in authority now are not running it and governing it properly. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 24 and 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. Why? Because those that are in power are destroying the earth, because they are not doing things properly. There is a way to do things. There is a vibration that is broken when you go against the laws that are written within the scriptures. That affects everything that you see. There is a vibration that righteousness carries. There is a vibration that wickedness carries. So the earth is mourning and fadeth away. Why? Because the people that are ruling it are corrupt. And this is why you see things like this going on. Police hiding their badges, because they know that they're being held accountable for the tasering and violence that they use. And they always use excessive force. Because you got to remember, you got a gang of cops on one or two people. Once you subdue that person, why are you still beating on them? Why are you still hitting? Why are you tasing them? You got them subdued. You got them chained up. You got the cuffs on them. You got them subdued. It's like 5 or 6 or 7 of you on them, but you still beating them, punching them. You know why? Because your goddamn ego got hurt because they didn't fall in line with your order. Because a lot of times what you're doing is fucking corrupt. And the people are getting sick of it. You see? Because if these cops were really out there doing their job rightfully, a lot of people, the majority of people would not act the way that they act. But this is all set up by the Most High to stir up that strife. Because the scriptures say, who shall rouse them up? Meaning Judah. And this is the Lord rousing up Judah on the left-hand side, because If you let Jake be, they ain't gonna do nothing. As long as they can get their Jordans, get their weed, their blunts or whatever, to get their something to drink, get with a woman or whatever the case is, have money, they're comfortable. They ain't gonna act up. They ain't gonna fuck up what they got. So the Lord got to step in on the left side and hit them so that they can rouse up. And a lot of this stuff that's going on, the rousing up that's going on, is being done by Edomites that are coming into these neighborhoods and destroying Jake's neighborhoods. And then going back to their neighborhoods laughing. And you feel like a fucking asshole because now you burnt down everything in your fucking neighborhood. Your shit looks like a third world country. Looks like you in Iraq or somewhere. One of them fucked up countries that got bombed. And now you wondering where you're going to go to get some food at. Restaurants are fucked up. You fucked them up. The supermarkets are fucked up. You fucked them up. The goddamn pharmacies are fucked up. You fucked them up. Jewelry stores and different sneaker stores and all that. You fucked all that shit up. So now where you going to go and shop? Like my man Hassan Campbell said. This is a systematic thing that the Lord is using Esau on the left-hand side to do. They want this to happen. They want chaos. They want anarchy so that they can impose order. And that's why you got shit going on like this, so that they won't be held accountable, so they can continue to do what they're doing. And this is another one here. NYPD officers at George Floyd protests are covering their badge numbers in violation of own policy. You see? They got all the badges covered. They got that black band around their badges, so you can't see the number. You can't see the name of the officer. I mean, they got numbers here on their helmets, but you can't see the badges and the badge number. Which I don't know if these numbers here on the helmets reflect the badge number, on the badge. It could be. I don't know. But you have other instances like this individual who doesn't have a helmet on, but his shit is covered. So let's go back to Ecclesiastes 10:5. In the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. So that's pretty much it. So this is what's happening. The earth mourneth and fadeth. Why? Because the ones that are in rulership, the ones that are running it, are corrupt to the core. So what do you think they're going to impart to their underlings? Nothing but corruption. These laws that are set up are not set up to help us. These laws are set up to entrap us, to enslave us, so that we can bow to the will of the international bankers, so that they can come in and implement their mark of the beast, which is a microchip, upon every individual on the planet Earth, so that they can have perpetual slaves. This is the whole picture. It says the world languisheth and fadeth away. So the earth is lacking. It's fading. There's birds and animals and different things that are just dying. Whales beaching themselves. Thousands of fish just dying. Different animals being extinct because things are not being run properly. It says the haughty people of the earth do languish. And these haughty people are the Edomites. And, they're languishing, they're lacking back. Why? Because they do not keep the very laws that keep things tight. That keep things leveled or level-headed. They don't do that. That's what equity is about. It says the earth also was defiled under the inhabitants thereof. So the people that are governing it, they've defiled the earth because they're constantly digging into the earth for oil. They're constantly destroying and taking and manipulating, and for their greed, splicing different genes, animal genes, fish genes, and all that, all kind of madness into foods and vegetables and different things of that nature, creating a GMO so that a strawberry doesn't freeze or this particular fruit doesn't go rotten. And that movie was at 28 weeks later, or I think it was at 28 weeks later, they went to the grocery store. They finally got there. What happened? The fruit was all rotten. But there was this batch of green apples that were untouched. They looked like they were the day that they were brought. And you know what the dude said? Irradiated. And he grabbed one and bit it. And that's what it's about. Not to lose crops. To get every bang for your buck. And that's why they manipulate and everything. So, and what that does, that changes the makeup of the world. That changes the makeup of people. You know, it fucks with the very core of keeping things in a lawful, proper perspective, man. And that's why the earth is all messed up. That's what I believe was that in Habakkuk, the earth is rising against these devils. It says because they have transgressed the laws. You already got the right laws to set up and establish to keep everything in the proper order. But you changed that because you do not care about the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You only pick it up when it benefits you. You use the power of it, but you do not respect the book. Now there's a picture of Adolf Hitler holding the Bible up the same way that Trump was holding the Bible up. And guess what? There's also a picture of George Floyd holding the Bible up in a similar fashion. Think about that. So this is a big game that these devils are playing. But guess what? That's the Lord on the left-hand side working. It says, change the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, because there's nothing sacred to these devils. That's why you see in this, them covering up the badges and not allowing people to see who the name and the badge number of the officers. And that's against their own policy, as this article states. New York Police Department officers policing the protests in New York City are increasingly covering their badge numbers with black bands. And I would play some of this video, you know, but I don't want to get... I had the hell with it, man. Just gonna play some. If it gets struck, it gets struck. Hopefully not. Officers at protests are hiding their badges.
Where's your name tag? You have no name tag, no badge number. Like, what is that?
Like I said, you also have interim orders, and we're getting orders from directly above. It's different.
So they're getting orders from direct above.
This guy says he has direct orders to take his name tag off and obscure his badge number.
See? So by putting tape over their badges or not wearing any insignias, and you can't see anything. So how are you gonna know which one of these devils, they all dress the same, which one of them committed a crime if they use excessive force on somebody? See, making it difficult to hold them accountable for violence and misconduct. Protesters said this Seattle officer sprayed mace at a miner's face. But guess what? His shit is covered up. When protesters confronted him, his badge was taped over. In San Diego, a masked officer with a taped badge allegedly confronted someone for wearing a Black Lives Matter mask.
Because we don't feel safe coming here any longer.
Oh, you don't feel safe coming here?
To eat, correct.
Okay, so that's great.
Okay, so let's find the number for him, please.
No, I'm not going to help you find this number.
See, they're doing whatever the fuck they want to do. So it's saying they some of them refused to answer at all. Some of them with the Department of whatever. Back outside the White House today, the perimeter has been pushed back another half block. Federal law enforcement of some kind. but they won't identify themselves, and all insignias and nameplates have been removed. Senator Chris Murphy said he would introduce a bill to make this illegal. So it goes on and on and on. So let's read a little more of this. It says, making it difficult for people to identify them and hold them accountable for their actions. On Wednesday, the National Lawyers Guild sent a letter to the department and to the city's corporation council warning that if the NYPD doesn't put an end to the practice, it could expect a lawsuit. The practice of police obscuring their badge numbers, a form of identification that many jurisdictions require officers to make available to the public when interacting, has taken on a heightened significance amid the nationwide protests over the killing of George Floyd by Minneapolis police. The protests have been met with a show of force from officers, sometimes veering into brutality, leaving the risk that those without visible identification are acting with the very impunity to commit violence that spurred the protests in the first place. And they will not be held accountable. Why? Because they can't be identified. The NYPD has strict regulations in displaying badge numbers and a history of suppressing protests with violence and without accountability. Covering badge numbers, the National Lawyers Guild letters assert serves to prevent aggrieved individuals from being able to identify the perpetrators of police misconduct or relevant witnesses to same. And the failure of the NYPD to stop this practice provides a sense of impunity to members of the service that they can violate demonstrators' rights without consequence. Andy Eisenson, president of the New York City chapter of the National Lawyers Guild, who signed the letter, told The Intercept that covering badge numbers was particularly troubling during a time of widespread protests when documented police violence is already a problem. The trend of individual officers to sidestep that minimal accountability exists. In order to more effectively and with greater impunity brutalize protesters for pretextual reasons is unacceptable, Eisenson said, not only along legal standards but for moral ones as well. And if it's illegal, why the fuck they doing it? But they're all working for the same side, man. It's all one team. It's a one-party team. I believe that was Anthony Hilder that said that. It's a one-party team. They're talking about bipartisanism and all that crap. There ain't no two teams or three. It's one team. Everybody's on the same team. You have the good cop, bad cop scenario. And that's why when we read in Revelation, the 13th chapter, and the 11th verse, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So their appearance is as if they are benevolent, like a lamb, but they spake as a dragon, because this legislation now they're speaking is speaking rough. And this police force that they have out there in riot gear, and the ones that are coming, the National Guard and all that, are going to get funky with it. Now, there was a video that was sent to me. I'm going to see if I could see real quick if I could find it. Nope, that's not it. And pretty much in the video, it was this Edomite that, here we go. It says, so, well, it doesn't really say much, but I'm going to play it so y'all can hear it.
And I mean this literally, or whoever the fuck it is you pray to, okay? That Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and Attorney General Barr clean this up lawfully. Because if for any reason the President of the United States feels that it's not getting done the way it should, and decides to put out the tweet that says, my fellow Americans, my fellow 2A loving Americans, it's time to take up arms against these assholes, you are all fucked in under an hour. Under 1 hour, you're done. Every one of you. We're all just at home, hanging out, or we're on vacation like me right now, watching you idiots behave the way you do, waiting for that one tweet, that one emergency text message from the fucking President of the United States that gives us the green light to finish this entire thing in under an hour. It will not be law enforcement. It will not be one of these slow bureaucrats.
So there you go. And see, these Edomites are talking shit about Jake, but guess what? It's them that started this whole shit. You know, they're the ones that started this whole shit. They're the ones that started the looting. And you clowns out there that's pushing it forward, you are in the fucking quagmire. You're in a fucking in quicksand. Let me see if I can find this one. Okay, maybe it's, let me see if it's Jeremiah 5. You know? What the hell's going on, man? Just bear me 1 second. I was just there, but I guess I didn't go far down enough. So it says, for who shall pity, Salakia, Jeremiah 15:5, for who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? So these devils are not going to have any mercy. You heard what that devil said. They're waiting from the orders from the President of the United States so they can go in and put you down in about an hour. These devils are proud. You know? Let's go real quick to Obadiah. And that's, you know, that's exactly how the Most High wants them. That's why he's making them like that. You know? Because when he comes, who hardened Pharaoh's heart? The Most High did. Just like he's hardened Esau's heart. See, because they really believe in their heart of hearts that they're going to continue on. Matter of fact, let's go there. Let's go to Psalms, the 49th chapter and the 11th verse. And it says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So they have, and then they give what? The substance, their inheritance to their children and their children's children, because they believe they're going to just keep ruling on and on and on and on and on. They think that this so-called great empire of America will never come down. They really believe that because of, we have such a strong military and all. This is the lunacy of Esau. Let's go to Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 2. Let's start at verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Meaning that all of these nations around the world can't stand these Edomites here in America, including their own Edomite kind among the European nations and wherever these devils are at around the world. So they made them small among the heathen, especially the Amalekites. But goes into these Edomites also, that they're being looked down upon. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. So they're so proud that they've actually deceived themselves, because the spirit that's in them is not upright. It's puffed up. The pride has taken them to new heights. And they've really bought into their own bullshit. They bought into their own deception. They managed to trick their own selves, which is the Lord tricking them anyway, to believe in this hype that they're the greatest people on the planet Earth, when they're not. You're nothing more than the basis of men on the planet that the Lord has set up in power. And he will soon take you down. He's building you up real nice, like he built up the Pharaoh, like he hardened the Pharaoh's heart, so that the Pharaoh would not turn from his wicked ways, until the Lord came and destroyed him and his whole army and military. So that the Egyptian empire back then was left without a ruler. It was left without an army. You may have had some that stayed behind, but it wasn't the same. And who knows how long it took for them to get back, into being able to protect and defend themselves and all that, because they never came back into great power. I mean, they had certain rules and dynasties that they had, but they never got back that power that they had when the Israelites were in captivity under them. It's the same thing with America. Babylon the Great. So the pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. And who has the history of living in caves? Now you have the Horites, which were Hamites, that lived in the caves back then, before Esau came in there, but they do not have a history of being low like you do. That caveman state where you were grunting. That's why you've made movies about it. There's no other people on the planet that have that shameful history like you do. But then you have the nerve to be proud. Let's go real quick to Job chapter 30. And that's one of the main reasons why they hate the Israelites, because the Lord gave us the ability and enlightened us to be able to go into these scriptures and pull these scriptures out and bring them to life, because it's the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that's bringing it out. Has nothing to do with us. So as this is the book of Job 30:1, it says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision. So why does it say that they that are younger than I when Esau came out first? He's the eldest. Well, because they are lower. They are the insignificant, as the Most High said here, that he will make them small among the heathen and greatly despised. So that's why they're younger than us. It says, then I have me in derision, whose fathers I will have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Let's look up this word disdained real quick. The word disdain is ma'as, to reject, despise, refuse. So in other words, he would not allow them to sit with the dogs of his flock. Why? Because he's a freak. They'll have sex with animals. They don't give. Look, there is no moral standard. There are no walls. There are no boundaries that these devils have. Their whole existence is on the left-hand side. The same way we laud and praise the Most High, and we have certain high holy days and certain rituals that we do. They do the same thing on the left-hand side. And their rituals consist of them praising their God, which is Satan, which is really the Most High, but it's on the left-hand side, it's Satan. And that's why they'll have orgies, homosexual orgies, adulterous orgies, orgies with animals. These devils are terrible, man. It says, that's why Job said, I wouldn't even have them sit with the dogs of my flock. Who has that history, man? You do. Yea, whereunto might the strength of their hands profit me? Yeah, because their strength cannot profit us. In whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary. And this happened when they were up in the caves of the Caucasus Mountains. For want and famine they were solitary. And this goes back to the curse of Genesis, the 3rd chapter, where the Lord cursed the serpent. That was an actual man, and the spirit that was in that man came later down the line through Cain, and after the flood it came in through Esau, the Edomites. And when you came back as the Edomites, in process of time, when you were ran away because you were nothing but a goddamn thief and a liar, a deceiver, cheater, this is when you came to that very low state, that caveman state. And no one else on the planet has that history but you. And you'll say 10 billion years ago. No, it wasn't no 10 billion years ago. But you want to say that because you don't want that, no one to be able to tie you to that. When's the last time you seen them make a caveman movie? They used to make them all the time back in 70s, 80s, 90s or whatever. They don't make them anymore because they're trying to get away from that history. For want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. And this is what it was. They fled into the wilderness. Why? Because they were chased up there. They were chased away from humanity. Because everything that they did is the same shit that they're doing now. Killing, destroying, murdering, stealing, robbing, deceiving. And that's why at the end of everything, what's going to happen? You're going to be rounded up and you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be burnt up as a nation. Thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the Heavenly Father and His Son, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots by their meat, because that's what they were eating. They were driven forth from among men. Why were they driven forth from among men? Because they were nothing but a bunch of thieves and murderers and all of that. They cried after them as after a thief, right? They chased them out from among the dark nations, so that they couldn't steal anymore. To dwell what? In the cliffs of the valleys. Now here we're coming to the history of when they were brought down to that low state. That curse that was put upon the serpent, that man in the Garden of Eden. That spirit came back into Cain after the flood into Esau. And this is what we're reading here is the curse that actually happened to them, that was put on them all the way back in the Garden of Eden. It says in caves of the earth and in the rocks. And no one else has that history of being a caveman. Among the bushes they brayed because they couldn't even speak. The word braid is nahak. Nahak. To bray, cry out. Used of an ass when hungry. See? Because they were hungry. That's why they were eating those roots. And that's what kept them healthy. Of wretched and famished person. So the noise of the ass man, and that's why they spoke the way they spoke. They were grunting. Under the nettles, they were gathered together. They were gathered together. You see those caveman movies. They were children of fools. Yea, children of base men, meaning children of no name. And you are the basest of men. But yet you want to play like you're the noblest. And that's why you see the earth in the condition that it is. The earth is languishing because the people that are ruling it are the wicked. It says they were viler than the earth. So you're vile people, man. And now I am their song. Yea, I am their byword. And that's what's happened. Now they're acting like if they're the nobility. And as if we happen to be the servants and the vile people of the earth, when it's them that it's the opposite. Ecclesiastes 10:7. I have seen servants upon horses, and this is the role. It's been a role reversal on the planet. Here it is, the basest men on the earth got put on top over us. They shall become the head, and you shall become the heel. Daniel chapter 4. Let's get there real quick. Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. And that's what we see, the basest of men ruling right now. And the word is there, shapal, for basest. Shapal, which means low, lowliest of station. Because remember, their name was what? They called themselves Rothschild, but their name before they became known as a Rothschild was what? Bauer, which means peasant. And that fits them because it said that the elder shall serve the younger. So they're the basis of men. And that's why Ecclesiastes 10:7, I have seen servants upon horses. And a very good depiction of that is in front of that museum by Central Park, I think it is. They have a horse, and I believe it's Teddy Roosevelt on the horse. And on one side you have a Gadite, and on the other side you have a Judite. So you have the servant, which is Esau, on a horse, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So there's been a total role reversal in this society of who the real peasants are and who the real nobility is. So-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which are the Israelites, we are the true nobility. the true royal regal ones. And they are the true servants, peasants. But there's been a role reversal because of us breaking the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Lord. But now we're coming to the point where there's going to be a role reversal. Let's go to Lamentation chapter 1 and verse 21. They have heard that I sighed, there is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. In other words, there's going to be a role reversal, trading places, so to speak. All right, so going back to Job 30 and 10, they abhor me, meaning they avoid us. They flee far from me and spare not to spit in my face. And that's all they do. It says, because he hath loosed my cord, because the Most High has taken away that hedge from us. He's taken away that royal, noble spirit from us and allowed us to be brought down to a lower state. And afflicted me. They have also let loose the bridle before me. Yeah, because we became the servants and they became the rulers and the masters. Upon my right hand rise the youth. They push away my feet, and they raise up against me the ways of their destruction. They mar my path. They set forward my calamity. They have no helper. And that's why the scriptures say in the curses that, how does it go? I can't think of the exact wording, but just bear me 1 second. Deuteronomy 28. Just bear me 1 second. What's command statutes? Curse shall not be. Curse. Curse shall not be. No. Here it goes. The 20th verse. Deuteronomy 28:20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. And that's why it says, they mar my path, they set forward my calamity, they have no helper. They came upon me as a wide breaking of waters, and that represents what? Their military. In the desolation, they rolled themselves upon me. And this is what we're witnessing here with these police covering up their badges. Where's this devil at? Right here. And it's going to get worse. And you heard that other devil that said it's going to take them an hour to destroy Jake. So going back where we at, it says, in the desolation they rolled themselves upon me. Terrors are turned upon me. They pursued my soul as the wind, and my welfare passeth away as a cloud. And now my soul is poured out upon me. The days of affliction have taken hold upon me, because the time of Jacob's trouble is coming. But there will be some that will be delivered. My bones are pierced in me in the night season, and my sinews take no rest. By the great force of my disease is my garment changed. It bindeth me about as the collar of my coat. He hath cast me into the mire, and I am become like dust and ashes, because we were brought very low. I cry unto thee, and thou dost not hear me. I stand up, and thou regardest me not. And now is the time when the Lord is going to really start showing his power. When these devils start to roll. That's why it says, that when these devils come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. So going back to Obadiah, it says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Because that's the pride of them. That they say that not even the Most High could take them down. In so many words. Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, that's a clue, because the symbol is the eagle. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, when they have the space station up there, satellites, thence will I bring you down, saith the Lord. And from that point, in the late 60s into the 70s, that's when Esau really started coming down. And things were starting to be exposed more, because the truth started gaining ground. All the way to what you see now. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? So when the Most High comes, you're not going to have nothing left, man. The Lord's going to take everything from you. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border, because these nations are tired of your ass. And even your own Edomite kind are tired of your ass. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. See? Because they don't understand how these nations are going to turn against them. But look how you treat them. Shall I not in that day, save the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Yeah, because all this so-called intelligence that they have, they're going to lose all of that. Scriptures say that they're wiser than Daniel, but they're going to lose everything. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. And that's what's going to happen eventually. And that's going to be your end. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And that's it. And when you read the rest of the chapter, it gives you in detail what's going to happen to you. You know, so you keep doing what you do. You know, keep, persecuting the people of the Lord, because really it's the Lord on the left-hand side, jacking Jake up. But it's going to get worse. That time of Jacob's trouble is right around the corner. And once it starts, it's not going to be pretty. You know, it's not going to be pretty, man. And the scriptures say that they shall be like madmen, sparing none. That they don't bear the sword in vain. So these devils are going to get busy, but the elect are going to be straight. You know, and these days will be shortened for the elect's sake. Let's finish off with that scripture. Let's go to Matthew 24. And I believe it's the 21st verse. Right. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So for the elect's sake, these days will be shortened. Matter of fact, let's get that one in Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Bashem El Shai shall lift up a standard against him. So the Lord is going to lift up a standard against him. Somehow, some way, the Lord is going to have some type of divine intervention to push Esau back, so where he won't be able to do anything. He'll be stopped in his tracks. All right, so pretty much this has been they shall not regard their kings nor princes. And now you can see by what's happening how that can be so, because these cops were already on the loose. They were already doing some foul shit, but now they're operating under the guise of not knowing who's who, so they can operate and do things without impunity individually. You see? And I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Minneapolis right there. It says Minneapolis. So this is not just in New York or Chicago. This is this must be a national thing, because that's what that says. Yeah, looks like Minneapolis. Looks like Minneapolis. All right, so with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified, and to the next time I say Shalom. Things sort up. All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border, because these nations are tired of your ass. And even your own Edomite kind are tired of your ass. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is